I like to start using any tools, especially the clipper, the way that the doggy has a chance to sniff it. That will bring much confidence and cooperation when it comes to grooming. Once the doggy is focusing on me, I start clipping the hair under the chin. That's a really neat place, especially for beginners when you're just trying to figure out which clipper blade or snap-on comb will work for you. That's an area where if you go a little bit shorter than you want to, you can hide it easily. Next, I go on the outer side of the neck to make sure everything is blended in and it's gonna be nice and even. At this point, you can either go higher on the neck or towards the top side of the neck, or you can go downwards. I chose to go on the top because it's just so satisfying to see the outcome of the body trim, and then I go down on the legs after that. You can see I try to keep Moose in a steady standing position. He is not tied into the table or anything. He's panting because he had a crazy good run with my doggy, and he's super excited about my chickens in the backyard. So the combination of that makes him pretty exhausted. I go by trimming the majority of the coat off, and I'm gonna come back to finish and even it up later on after a good brush and comb out while it's kind of roughly done. You can choose to trim the legs a little bit longer than the clipper blade you're using on the doggy's body. So in case you go at that route, you can stop where I was at the moment I was talking about that and not go any further down the legs. If you want to do the same length all over, here I'm removing the hair stuck in between the metal blade and the snap-on comb. And in case you want to do the same length, you can go ahead and use the clipper even on the legs down right to the feet. This is a sensitive area back there. I hold my hand around Moose's privates to make sure that he's going to be safe. I'm shielding it off with my hands. And whenever it comes to trimming the legs, I like to think about that as a robo doggy, like it has inner side, outer side, front side and back side. So when it comes to trimming the hair there, you're gonna be going parallel with the inner and outer side. We're not gonna run through the front and the back. I'm gonna show you what I mean in a second. I'm doing his right side, blending in anything what is sticking out. It's still kind of a rough job, so don't take it as a final thing. I'm just setting the length, and we're gonna even it up a little bit more with clippers, and we're gonna use the shear, and I'm gonna use a thinning shear to even everything up. I like to use the clippers on the legs as well, keeping in mind the sensitive areas, which we're gonna talk about separately. I like to use the clippers there because it makes the job so much faster, and in case the desired length is around 2 inch or less, then you're gonna find a metal blade or a snap-on comb to get those results super fast. Doggy will appreciate that for sure. I like to hold my left hand by the elbow area, so in case the doggy would move a little bit or suddenly a little bit more, then I'm gonna be able to block the sensation. That's also great for me to let the doggy know what's going on around there. When it comes to trimming the front leg, I like to hold it out straight and work from the armpit area towards the pads. This is the direction I'm using the clipper to make sure that it's gonna set an even length all over. And this is the chance where what I take to blend in the chest with the neck and belly area. So it's gonna be an even trim. You can go ahead and lift up the doggy or work on the belly area as well. So the left side of the belly will be covered as well. At this point, you can go ahead and work on the right side if you want to. I like to keep everything on the side I'm working on, so I'm not trying to go on the other end at this point. This is a great time to take advantage of the position and trim the inner thighs. In case you need to go shorter, you can change blades and blend in the area which is shorter than the blade you are using on the body, but it's longer than the blade you have been using for the center trim. I'm adjusting Mr. Moose, trying to do a little bit more evening up on the body. We're gonna come up to that, And as you can see, he's free to move. My doggy is right by the grooming table because he was going crazy on the other side of the door because they love each other with Moose so much. So I'm doing the impossible here, having a distraction. But Moose is awesome, so it's gonna work out. He just wiggles a little bit more for this. I'm using the clipper on the other side, and you saw it was getting stuck in the hair a little bit because Moose has crazy thick coat. So I'm switching the clipper up to gear 2, and so it's gonna run through the blade. Run through the hair. I'm removing the hair which got stuck in between the two blades, the snap-on comb and the clipper blade. And as I blew, Mr. Moose was like, "What's that?" And he was reacting to me blowing air on the clipper. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. Any kind of distraction will make a high energy level doggy react. Here I'm blending in the top of the neck with the bottom of the neck, and I'm doing the left side on Moose. Blending in the neck with the shoulders and going on towards the belly area. Keep in mind the belly thigh flap there. We want to work parallel with the skin, and whenever it comes to working on the belly thigh flap, you want to make sure that you know where exactly that is. So for beginners, put your hands back there and make sure that your mind knows where that is so you can work around it. From this angle, it's a little bit harder to see where the skin part is on the belly thigh flap, but once you know and once you made sure that it's there, you can avoid that and angle the clipper this way, not directly towards the skin flap there. This is a great position to trim the belly hair and to do the elbows and go forward with the front legs. I'm holding Moose's chest to keep him sturdy here and standing still, and I hold his leg by the elbow to make sure that he's not gonna move his leg suddenly. I can get access to the inner side from the opposite angle, from the opposite side, so you can take advantage of this position to work on the opposite side as well. I'm cleaning off the table a little bit so Moose won't slide. That's super important because in case the doggies do not feel comfortable enough, they will wiggle or curl up, and it's gonna be a really tricky spotty. When I'm doing the legs, I like to hold the feet area so they wouldn't suddenly jerk on the legs and pull it inward towards the sharp clipper blade. I'm holding the elbow again to make sure that Moose is going to stay safe, and I'm trying to get access to the belly area here, and also I'm gonna trim the inner side of the front left leg, so that's gonna be the same length like all around the other legs as well. We are turning around here and positioning the camera, and I'm doing a little trick holding up the other leg so Moose is gonna stay on the right one. That's a pretty neat little trick to use temporarily in case you need to, because the doggy wiggles a little. When it comes to trimming the hind legs, you can easily get access to the inner thighs, the inner leg area, and trim it by lifting up the one leg which is closer to you and trimming the hair on the opposite side of the leg. We are turning around again to make sure that the other inner thigh area is going to be trimmed as well. But first, looks like I'm gonna trim the butt area. Keep in mind, in case your doggy has family jewels, you really need to shield them with your hands. So it's not gonna be a free hairstyling like it is here now. You need to cover the family jewels. This is how I like to trim the butt area. I keep the doggy standing, removing the tail from the area, and in case your doggy has the family jewels, males, then I highly recommend you to shield the privates with your left hand, with your other hand, to make sure that they're gonna stay safe. I like to use the comb to make sure that everything is going to be nice and even. Whatever I trimmed off, I'm gonna remove it with the comb. The loose hair bunches will come off, and I can make sure that the coat is going to be beautifully even. After a good comb, I like to go back to even up the hair with the clipper once again and follow it up with the shear in case anything is sticking out. I'm doing a quick follow-up on both sides to make sure everything is going to be nice and loose and fluffy, so the clipper can get to all hair bunches and make them nice and even.